Welcome to IronPoint. I'm DocHound, and this is Hit and Review. Joining us today is Samnsquantch. He's a lieutenant here at IronPoint, and recently he was on a very cool hit. So, Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Samnsquantch from IronPoint. In this particular occasion, we had a man on the inside on a reclaimer, and we decided that it was a good opportunity to dust off the Prowler, so that's what we did.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get right on into it.
It's Star Citizen being Star Citizen, or if I was just lagging real bad, but
Here I see you guys are in the Prowler and you're hooked up to those seats, which are pretty cool, but I know that doesn't last very long since I've seen this video already.
Right? Everybody got out of the seats a little bit early.
Right.
There's miner's limit. You're in between.
See, what you guys are doing here is you're trying to visually acquire a target. You only know the general area, about a 90-kilometer radius.
Yeah, we're headed that way.
That's right. We had a guy inside, but we didn't know exactly where he was because he couldn't leave party. But you see right here, Sophia spotted the ship visually, which is a really cool new thing you can do since the LOD increases in the last patch.
Man, that's pretty cool. So that you guys saw the light on that reclaimer, right?
Right, we saw the headlights from it. The headlights on that thing are stupidly bright, and just so happened that's what we caught.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you guys are like, what, 60, 70 kilometers out? What's the detection range on the reclaimer?
The detection range on the reclaimer with a size 2 radar on this ship is usually around 35 or so.
Okay.
35 kilometers or so. So we couldn't even get him on sensors at this point. He was just a glowing dot.
Geez, good eyes for Sophia looking outside of a little tiny window there.
Oh, absolutely. Be ready.
So yeah, fast forwarded a little bit here. The G forces are knocking all your contenders around.
Right, the payload came unstowed.
Fucking game.
Oh, poor Jolly.
That data stuff you're standing on.
Jolly
my
wasn't
gun.
having a
Your
good
foot
time.
is legitimately on my gun. Like not clipping through it, but on it.
Oh, there it was.
Yep, we misjudged, or I misjudged the approach speed just a tad, and ended up overshooting a bit.
We've got him.
All right.
Oh, are you ready?
Go now.
There it is.
Go.
So I heard you call that.
Yep,
you told them to go. They jumped.
Go clear.
Yep. No, I'm just.
That's right. Everybody was right on top of things. They all went out just as soon as I said so. Communication is a very, very important part of team piracy.
Does anyone? Oh, you know what? It'd be funny, Sophie.
Dampener is active, just in case.
Poke your head up.
Sounds like Mercurius is on grid too.
Bridge to show him the bear is before we attack.
Is he on the bridge?
He's in the right side.
In the docking collar.
So right here, Sophia's checking this corner. What's she looking for over here?
She's looking to see if that lift is up. If the door's closed, it indicates that the lift is on another floor, and it can be an indicator that someone else is aboard the ship.
Ah, that's pretty brilliant. The fact that Sophia's looking for that just kind of tells me that she's done this a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Sophia is very much a fan of being the first one through the door. She lives to board.
Well,
He's in the cockpit, right?
Who's in the processing then? The elevator's up.
There's some good communication there. I'm appreciating the team communication so far.
He came down to get me. We both came.
And as far as team comms go, you can't see it because they were behind her. But there were two people that broke off and swept those rooms as she passed by.
I haven't seen
Cool.
anyone else, and he's the only one showing in the party, but you could be right, I guess.
Yeah, she's making good usage of time and the violence of action, not waiting.
I'm on ladder when everyone's ready.
Like too many times people can. You see in a lot of like these milsim groups, a lot of these merc groups, when they go into doing room clearing, they go super slow, and it takes them so much time to just go down a hallway. And like I get in real life, even in real life, there's speed. You want speed, unless you're sneaking up on somebody, unless they don't know you're there. But this isn't even real life. In a video game, sure, yeah, you do want to clear those side rooms, but you need to be going towards the front because that's where at least you know where one guy is, and you need to take him out.
That's right, and he's on the bridge, so he could very easily hop out of a seat, shoot our guy on the inside, and then self-destruct the ship if he wanted to.
Yeah, and we've had that happen to us before. So
several times.
Oh yeah.
We definitely know the consequences. One thing I wanted to ask was, other than you, since you're in the Prowler, and I probably talked over it, but you did just update that the Prowler is outside of detection range. Was there anyone else on grid?
There was a, I think it was a Mantis. We either had a Mantis or a Cutlass Blue, some sort of QED ship on station as well.
Okay.
He arrived shortly after the Prowler got in position.
That's smart. So he basically tailed you in?
That's right.
Cool.
Okay, you ready?
It's lagging.
Wait, you're on which seat you on?
I'm on left seat. He's on right, but I can't tell if he's. It's like super laggy. I can't tell if he's out. I still see his laser.
IronPoint, thank you for your donation.
What's comical about that the gentleman you guys just heard was Co Wilco, and if you are a fan of Burks at all, you might have actually seen Burks have a run-in with Co Wilco, where Wilco invited him on the ship, offered to give him some water. We actually ended up not giving him any water, but ended up just talking with Burks for a little bit, and it turned out that Wilco is like one of the nicest pirates Burks could have ever run into. Well, keep in mind, here's Co Wilco putting a guy out of his seat with a bullet through his head. So he's still a pirate. He's a nice guy, but he's still a pirate at heart.
The question is, do we kill our friend too?
Don't hurt me.
No.
I like how Draugur's asking if we should kill our own guy.
Well, now and again, for these sort of inside jobs, it is prudent to kill your insider just so they don't blow their cover. But in this case, this wasn't a group or anything that this guy was running with, so it wasn't important.
You know, that kind of brings me to the question, back to my question about our insider here is, how often are we able to do these insides? And how often is it that random people are willing to pick up groups for large ships like the Reclaimer?
Well, a lot of folks end up buying the ships like the Reclaimer and things like that, and not realizing exactly how many hands it takes to make it run efficiently. You can definitely solo a Reclaimer all you like, but it takes 10 years to do because you have to run half a mile back to the back of the ship and unload your boxes and come back to the beam. And usually they end up wanting at least one or two extra guys on board. And a lot of these Reclaimer pilots, honestly, would just put out a call in global chat and be like, hey, does anybody want to come work for a share on a Reclaimer? And, you know, one of our guys will go, yeah, sure, absolutely. Because it's really hard to tell who's who. We don't have like an org system or anything like that. So you can't tell, you know, that you're letting a pirate aboard.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know, if there was ever a plug to join an org, that would be it. Make sure you're only taking friends aboard.
I am alive, and I'm still salvaging.
So it looks like Wilco's got first dibs on this guy.
The right server.
It looks like it. And our salvager's actually still running the beam.
He's got a grenade launcher, huge.
I told you he was armed.
I told you he was armed.
Should I tell?
So we fast forwarded a little bit. So here we see Sophia's lining the ship up to get us, or to get all of you guys off the grid. Grid being like the hot spot where you just did your action, and getting out into dead space. So why are we trying to do that?
Dead space is anywhere outside of comm arrays. We like to go outside of a system, or outside of a planetary group, I should say. You know, so if we were in Crusader like we are now, we might align for Crew L1 and go well outside the orbit of the moons, because it becomes harder and harder, even if you have a marker to the ship, to find it the further away it is in dead space, because you have to, you know, even if you have a marker, you can't set a quantum jump coordinate to it. So you'd have to jump along our line and drop out at the right time and then slow boat to it.
Yeah.
And it just makes it where it's not worth going after for a lot of people, and they just go, bah, pirates.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It keeps us safe. It keeps us from having vengeful Bobs come back and ram us to death or shoot us with torpedoes or whatever else.
You know, what's interesting to note, Sam, is for being a bunch of pirates, we do an awful lot of cargo hauling.
We really, really do. We shoot people a lot, but we move a bunch of boxes.
Yeah, I mean those reclaimers. Just off the top of my head, I mean, because like you can fit all sorts of boxes on rails, on sidewalks, in the hallway. Like we've hit these things where they were just like the cargo grid was full, the cargo bay was full, and then just like
The
every little
queue.
nook and cranny and the queue, and like we have spent hours taking these things apart before.
We have, because I mean, you can fit if you're creative, if you have the grid full, and you have the what is it called, the buffer
Mhm.
full from harvesting before you print. You can have 1200 SCU of RMC on one of these things,
Jeez, man.
which is just a huge payday when your overhead is a couple of bullets.
That's true. It's a good payoff for us. And, we spend like this video was what, 15 minutes? We'd spend 15, 20 minutes getting ready, gearing up, and doing a boarding. And then we spend the next few hours earning our keep.
Right. Actually working for our money.
And, then taking our ship out into dead space is a big and an important part of that because we're not the only pirates around, too. So we always have to be on our toes about other guys. So we employ a lot of, comically, counter piracy and counter bounty hunting strategies to make sure that our cargo ships are parked somewhere safe where we have plenty of time to offload before we have to worry about anything. That said, how often do we have security?
We have security every time. Every time we go to move cargo off a ship, you're going to have at least 2 fighters circling around, or something that can function as a fighter, circling around, making sure that nobody just shows up out of nowhere. Because I mean, when you're unloading cargo like this, nobody's in a seat, nobody's in a turret, so you can't see, sensor pings pop in or anything like that. So if somebody popped in with a retaliator and parked at 5 feet from your face, you wouldn't know.
Mm.
So we've always got a couple of fighters circling around, just making sure that we're not getting messed with. And now and again, it's absolutely essential. Sometimes they're the only reason we make it out with any cash at all. This guy in particular came back about 30 minutes after that video ended. In a Corsair, he actually did track us out into dead space and
Wow.
blew up one of our support ships.
Wow, he's tenacious.
He was tenacious. I mean, we killed him again, but he did get one of our ships, got the drop on him.
Oh, man.
But it's absolutely essential. We have to be just as careful as these security orgs and the cargo haulers when we're moving our stuff, because you're super vulnerable when you're moving cargo from one ship to the next.
Yeah. Well, let that be a lesson to everybody that you should probably hire security whenever you're doing something like this. I mean, you're already asking for volunteers to help you for a cut. Might as well get a fighter out there too. But anyways, thank you for watching us. This is IronPoint. Good out there. Practice some skills. Get on our videos. Join our Discord. And remember, only leave bare metal.